We're going to begin this teaching with a meditation. So allow yourself to sit or stand comfortably and allow yourself to relax in body and mind. Allow everything in your experience to be exactly as it is. Comfortable, uncomfortable. Allow your body, your mind to relax and do whatever they do. Notice that you are the one to whom your experience appears. You are the center of awareness in which all your sensations, thoughts, feelings, in which the outside world, everything appears to you. And be aware in this moment that you are watching this or listening to this because you care. Because you care about yourself. You are looking in some way to benefit yourself by listening to this, to alleviate your suffering. This impulse is your self-healing nature, your desire to take care of yourself. It is the core impulse of everything that lives. It is life as you. You are good, you care completely about yourself, and in this moment, allow yourself to feel your own caring, how real it is, how authentic, and how endlessly powerful your caring is. Allow your caring to imbue your breathing. Let your caring be real, be made real in your breath. And deliberately make your breath an instrument of your caring by which you care for yourself. Where your breath enters your nostrils, where your breath touches in your nose, in your sinus, in your throat, in your body. Touch yourself with your own real caring. Like a mother would comfort a child, like a father to a child. Love yourself. You are self-healing. Your body is self-healing. Your emotions are self-healing. Your thoughts, your mind is self-healing. They speak to you constantly. Most people don't know that they are self-healing. They don't understand the language of their body, the language of their mind. In this video, we are going to teach you how you are self-healing and how to heal yourself, how you heal you. The same you that is breathing kindness into your body, and there is the you who is receiving this kindness into your body. So we're going to begin now and talk about a naturopathic model that in the old days was called the model of toxemia. Toxemia means poisons in the blood. And what this model describes is the processes by which you become sick and by which you heal. It explains what is the nature of sickness itself. And it is completely, 100% different than, and I will say at odds with, the conventional medical thinking of illness. Conventional thinking would say that the suffering in your body is due to a disease, and that the work or the task of medicine is to destroy that disease, whether it's cancer, a sore throat, or irritable bowel syndrome. The function of medicine is to make the tumor go away, the throat inflammation go away, the symptoms in the abdomen and bowel go away. That's the approach. That is not at all what naturopathic medicine does. So in the model of toxemia, we say, what are the causes? What are the causes of cancer? What are the causes of a pharyngitis or a sore throat? And what are the causes of irritable bowel syndrome? And it goes like this. A healthy body is self-healing. Examples of self-healing are a hangover. The symptoms of a hangover cannot be cured as such, because the hangover is the cure, and it is the cure for excess consumption of alcohol. Now, so unless you remove the cause, you'll be trying to deal with a dry mouth, excessive thirst, headaches, vomiting, nausea, feeling of absolute fatigue and generalized body ache. You'll be trying forever, as human beings have, to cure that, because you can't cure it. You may be able to ameliorate some symptoms with medications, but you can't cure a hangover, because it is the body's perfect working, right? A sunburn is the body working perfectly in response to too much sun. That's what it does to take care of itself. A blister on your hands is the result of the hands being overworked beyond their ability to tolerate it and developing a blister to protect themselves. They're not diseases in themselves, and they can't be made to go away. You have to find the causes. So it is with the body, and illnesses become more complex. Why do we get flus? Why do we get diarrheas? Why do we get fevers? That's not as obvious as a sunburn or a hangover. Toxemia explains that, and that is what I'm going to explain to you. And then there are even more complicated diseases like cancer, like dementia, like atherosclerosis, diabetes, that are even more difficult to figure out. And toxemia also explains that. So here's how it works. The body then is always adapting. And naturopathic medicine says illness is the body's adaptation to abnormal circumstances, abnormal treatment. Too much sun, too much alcohol, too much work on the hands. That's what the body is doing when it becomes sick. That's what the body's always doing, is trying to heal itself. So then there are, how does the body become sick? Here's how the body becomes sick in the naturopathic model. Every action we perform produces a result. And in this model, we're saying that the body becomes poisoned. Now, there are obvious ways that the body becomes poisoned. You ingest mercury in fish. You inhale toxic air living in a polluted city. You drink too much alcohol. You eat foods with glyphosate in them and pesticides. There are many, many ways that we out and out poison ourselves, right? There are also poisons that are less known. So eating the standard American diet is a way that we are poisoning ourselves. And through our food is one of the great ways that we poison ourselves. And in that poisoning, the food goes into the body and through the intestines, through the liver, into the bloodstream. And there, the bloodstream is either nourished, if the food that we're eating is nutrient dense, or it is polluted by these poisons that I've just described. That is poisoning of the bloodstream that takes place. Very simple example here. And this is simple. This is something that children can understand, and I would love to see them taught this from the age of about 5 or 7 years old. So we ingest poisons, and then we also, our body creates poisons. Carbon dioxide, methane gas, hydrogen gas, various gases that are created. Poisons are created in the intestines. There are poisons created throughout metabolic processes that need to be eliminated from the body. And as they accumulate in excess, then they become toxic to the body. And these are all documented in blood tests. Now, there is also a squandering of our vital energy. And squandering energy, we could say, could be through having the body processing alcohol and toxic substances. We squander energy by our posture, to sit in such a way that your circulation is impaired, that it takes more energy to hold you up, that you're not breathing fully, that your digestion is cramped, is an example of squandering energy as opposed to sitting with poise or standing, moving with poise. Not getting exercise, not getting enough sleep is squandering our energy. Spending our thoughts anxiously and worrying is a squandering of energy and depletes us. So as we deplete our vital energy, the body then has less energy with which to handle this toxic burden that is self-generated, that comes from outside. It has less energy. So what you get then, and here's what happens in the body, is that with less energy, the body is less able to eliminate poisons and metabolize them, so they begin to accumulate in the body. And we move now to the state of the bloodstream, and we could probably say the lymphatic fluids as well, but we'll talk about the bloodstream. In the bloodstream, old naturopathic doctors spoke of the bloodstream as the river of life. And the river of life is a river that carries life-giving nutrients and purifying water and fluids to a community. And in this case, to the community of cells, of tissues, of organs that is our body. The river of life flows through this. If that river is abundant in nutrients and is pure, then the members of the community are well-fed, well-nourished, and cleansed, and their waste carried away by this. If upstream from the river of life, somebody has put in strip mining or foresting or a hog farm, and the river becomes polluted, then what happens to the people the cells, the community downstream. If we're if we're a living hog farm here, polluting our river of life, then what happens is that the cells become poisoned. Now, the body has a means for dealing with poisons, both exogenous from outside and endogenous created within. And it has 4 organ systems dedicated to this. And those organ systems are the kidneys, the liver, intestines, the skin, and the respiratory tract. Each of those is designed to take poisons and get them to the outside of the body. So you have bowel movements and get rid of them. You urinate and get rid of them. You perspire and get rid of them. You exhale and get rid of them. And the body then maintains its vital balance, taking in nutrients, eliminating poisons. What happens when the body becomes fatigued and doesn't have enough energy is it cuts down on the amount of elimination that it does. When the body is overly inundated with poisons, they begin to accumulate and can't be eliminated. And so our body begins to crack in the ways that specific poisons adversely affect it, or it begins to break and to become sick in the way it's genetically predisposed to break down. And initially, the way the body breaks is not that it gets cancer. The body breaks by having an acute illness. Now, what's an acute illness? An acute illness is a self-limiting illness. It's one that will go away on its own if it doesn't kill you. And so those would be examples of colds, of flus, of hangovers, of bladder infections, of diarrheas, vomiting, fevers, everything pretty much that ends in an itis, a rhinitis, a pharyngitis, a nephritis, are most inflammations, not all by any stretch, but are self-limiting. So, and what you see taking place in acute illnesses is that the body is eliminating to the outside. In an acute illness, it's a heightened effort to detoxify the body, to get poisons out of the body. If it's in the respiratory tract, you may have a sinusitis, you may have a pharyngitis, a sore throat, you may have a bronchitis, but your respiratory tract is coughing, sneezing, eliminating obviously toxic matter, right? That's irritating the mucous membranes. They're responding with mucus. This is coming out of you. If it's coming out of the skin, think to yourself. Fever is the prime example of it, of the body sweating poisons out of itself. It can also be that you develop a type of illness where, like measles or chickenpox are children's illnesses, but you could develop rashes on the skin, boils on the skin, ways that this body is eliminating through the skin. Through the urinary tract, the urine grows darker, more odorous, stings, burns, and on examination with urinalysis, you can see changes in the specific gravity, the pH of it, the content of red blood cells, white blood cells, other things that show up in the urine. And then through the bowel, again, a diarrhea or vomiting is obvious. These are all ways the body is trying to get poisons out of itself. Acute, self-limiting illness. Here's where naturopathic medicine and conventional medicine differ. You don't take a Tylenol for this. You don't take acetaminophen for this. We don't give our patients something to suppress the symptoms and make them go away. We know that the body is trying to purify the bloodstream through these avenues of elimination. And so we work with, at the very beginning, to aid the body in its elimination. That may be giving herbs that cleanse the digestive tract so that you get a mass of poisons out of yourself, shifting your way of eating to vegetable juices, special broths that cleanse and take the burden off the kidneys, using hydrotherapeutic treatments like wet sheet wraps to draw poisons out through the skin, and the exposure to abundant fresh air to aid the respiratory tract. And by these means, we are working with the illness, with the body, to bring about the elimination of poisons. When the poisons are eliminated, the crisis goes down, the illness is truly healed, not quite truly healed by this, but the acute symptoms pass, and there is well-being. Now, if you take the opposite perspective, we're going to go back to saying, then while you're sick and resting, the question to be asked is, how did this come about? What is it that's at least under my control that brought on these acute symptoms? And I have my patients ask about 4 areas of activity. How has the way that I eat brought this about? How has my exercise or rest contributed to this? How has the use of my mind, my anxiety, the way that I talk to myself contributed to this? And how has stress in my relationships and my work contributed to this? And if you sincerely don't want to get sick again and want to heal yourself, as we all do, you introspect, you self-reflect, and you know what a number of these things are that your body is asking for, the ways that you're harming your body. You know the changes that you are to make here. So then, this is the real healing that takes place, is A, through natural, non-harmful naturopathic therapeutics. We have helped the body to eliminate the poisons and to get the rest that she needs. And we have discovered what are the causes of this that we can actually do something about. And in that is real healing, because you're not going to get sick in the same way again if you have identified the real causes and changed those. That is in difference to what happens if what you did was to take an antibiotic or to take a steroid or an anti-inflammatory medication, and you stop the symptoms from happening. What has happened is you stop the body from her self-cleansing efforts, right? You stop the cleansing process. It'd be like stopping a sunburn or stopping a hangover. So you stop that, and you do not identify the cause, and your means of stopping it through medications or surgery are harmful to the body, so the body is more poisoned than what it was before, and the same activities, let's say you're allergic to milk, you continue to drink milk, then you continue to create respiratory problems for yourself. There is no healing that has taken place. So now we go to the next step of this. By the way, that when you do not identify the causes, when what you do is to suppress, fight against the symptoms, in naturopathic medicine we call that suppression. And so, for example, if you are consuming milk and you have an allergy or sensitivity to milk and it's manifesting in respiratory symptoms, let's say, and you take antibiotics repeatedly for those, your body may shift then from having respiratory symptoms to developing an eczema on your skin, or to developing chronic digestive problems. Naturopathic medicine says, same illness, same cause. It just is being suppressed through one avenue, so the body starts eliminating it through the other. This is suppression versus actual healing that takes place. Now, here's one that's key, is that since forever, naturopathic doctors have said, if you suppress acute illness, fevers, colds, flus, menstrual cramps, if you suppress these, what happens is that you get chronic disease. And it goes this way. The analogy that I like is if a community is being unjustly treated. They are being unjustly treated. The community rebels, organizes and rebels against this to call attention to it and to throw off the injustice. If what happens is the police and the military are called out to crush that, you succeed in crushing it. That is, you stop the rioting or the protesting in the street, but you drive the grievance deeper into the community, and they get smarter and they think, okay, how can we now adapt to this? Because nothing can live with injustice. The body has to have what it has to have and cannot have what is poisonous and damaging to it. It cannot. And so it rebels. And this is what's taking place. And if the revolution is suppressed, or we'll say the peaceful protests are suppressed, then what happens is the body then, as I said, if the respiratory tract can't do it, then the skin creates problems, or the joints become problematic, or you lose your ability to sleep, or you become more anxious, or your menstrual time becomes more difficult for you. Your body begins to fail under this, as it must, until what happens is at a point somebody says, wow, your cholesterol's 280, your blood pressure is rising, you start getting migraine headaches, you start developing asthma, you're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, find a tumor in your breast, diseases that don't go away, that are with you all the time, chronic degenerative disease, the plague of our civilization, is naturopaths go, of course. How could we not have chronic degenerative diseases when we have not identified the causes of our acute illness, and when the body rebels against the injustice, it is suppressed? So then, to heal a chronic illness, which is what most people come to me for, to heal a chronic illness, you need to nourish, rest that body. You need to build what truly heals and stop what injures. Our first principle, by the way, first, do no harm. Identify how are you harming yourself in your ways of eating, of moving, of thinking, and relating. And in my work with you, we develop a personalized program for you, teaching you skills in eating, moving, thinking, relating, and building your strength and identifying the ways that you are injuring yourself and teaching you how to stop the injury. So we have worked with your body then to rest her, regain vitality, stop poisoning her, fill her with nutrients, in all ways building health in your body. And what happens is your body now develops the strength again to get sick, to get a sore throat, to have a diarrhea, to develop a fever, because it loses this as it weakens in chronic disease. And this time, with the illnesses, when you get sick, instead of suppressing the illness so that you grow weaker and more toxic, we treat the illness. We really aren't treating the illness. We are helping the body to heal herself by naturopathic therapeutics so that you come away more rested, with more energy, and more purified, and actual healing having taken place in your body. The body has successfully eliminated poisons and eliminated damaged tissues and structures from herself. And so you are healthier. And by this means, we heal chronic degenerative disease, and that's your healing process. So here's the work that I love. Illness then is your body speaking to you. So I'm wanting you to see through my eyes that when a person comes to me who is ill, I definitely have compassion for them, but I see their illness as purposeful and intelligent, and directing them how to live in a manner that does not create illness and that does create health. And so I then say the purpose of this illness is to be a message to you, to teach you and help you, a messenger that comes and says, here, these are your instructions. And under the guidance of a trained eye, like mine, like a naturopathic physician's, we can help you to understand the language of your body. And so the body, then the illness, is a communication to you about the way you live. And you are being asked to stop the harm and to get on the side of doing what's truly beneficial, and to learn how to eat, to move, to think, to relate in ways that will heal you. Here's what's so cool, is that when faced with making these changes, changing our behavior is, in my opinion, the hardest thing in the world to do. And it is there that so many people fail. Granted, people need to know what to do. They need to be taught how to live skillfully. But once it's pointed out that your problem is that you are consuming excess sweets, simple example. When that's pointed out, that doesn't mean that it's easy to change from loving and enjoying sweets and desserts to moving away from that and instead consuming generous amounts of salads and steamed vegetables. That is a real challenging behavioral change for most people. And how do you make that change? This is the work that I love the most. Where do you find the power to behave intelligently and kindly, to treat yourself like you would teach your child to treat herself, that you would hope she would treat herself? That power is the work of, this is my work and the work of this course in self-mastery, is being able to master your behaviors. And how you do that then will go into this right now and go into it in detail with many other videos. But as an overview, then, you are self-healing, as we began with the short meditation at the beginning. You are self-healing, meaning you have the power to heal your body. Your body is self-healing, as we've already illustrated here. If you would, your behaviors are self-healing, or you innately have the power to heal your behavior. When you see that your actions are causing you to become sick, and you come to changing your actions, then we engage in a real high art of how do you heal these? And the answer is by bringing your own self-healing self, to your behaviors. And I'll give you an example. So if your behavior is overeating, in the act of overeating, you pause and you go, I'm overeating and I want to keep overeating. I can't stop overeating. And in that, simultaneously, you bring the same love that we bring in the meditation, the only love. You bring your caring and you say to yourself, sister, if you overeat to the point that you kill yourself, with your last breath, I will be with you and say to you, I love you, I care for you, you are precious to me. And I want you in this exact moment, as you are overeating, to simultaneously feel my own caring for you. And as I'm speaking here, I trust you see that this is your voice that you're listening to, not mine. When I say my caring, I mean your caring. You are saying to yourself, feel my love, the love that has me here watching this video now. Your real love for yourself. You bring that, and this is just a short version of the greatest skill in life. Your kindness toward yourself, it is kindness, it is love that heals everything. And this isn't just some nice, sweet talking love. This is love that enables you to heal your overeating. And by healing your overeating and the resulting poisoning of your body, you lower the poisons, you heal the poisoning of your body, and your body, your physiology changes. You heal. This is how healing happens. So here we come back to saying, how does naturopathic heal? Naturopathic medicine heal? There's naturopathic medicine, herbs and homeopathics and water therapies and nutrition. And this is naturopathic education. And how it heals is by the power of kindness that enables you to change your behaviors. You are self-healing. You already do love you. That's the case. That's why you're watching the video. And you bring that to bear on yourself, and it enables you to stop using your own power against yourself and to use it in your behalf. That's the work that we go through now. There's even another step to it, which is we're talking about healing the behaviors. What's really being healed here is you yourself with love. Because I'll wager that you, like me, like all of us, have a very conditioned love for ourselves. And if we do certain things, we love ourselves. And if we don't do certain things, we don't love ourselves. And it is a new world to love yourself while you're smoking a cigarette. Love yourself while you're cheating on your wife. Love yourself while you're spending money you don't have. That to bring love into the sick areas of our life, that is what heals. And so the object of healing here is not a tumor, is not an infected throat, and is not an irritated bowel. It is, in a sense, but the real object of healing is you, yourself, the doer of the actions. So that you, by feeling love and knowing that you will be loved, you have the room to fail, to work with your overeating, with your self-criticism, with your not exercising, with whatever it is that owns you, the habits that own you. And this is the beauty of naturopathic medicine. As we say, we treat the patient, not the disease. And truly, truly, the object of healing is you. If this conversation that we've had here touches you, then I invite you to come join me. Let's do this work together. This is what I love to do, and I love doing it with different people, and I would love to do it with you. So come join me.